Hi everyone, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the weekly forecast for all signs. It is a collective reading, so I do speak in broad terms. You have to figure out if and where it fits in your life, if at all. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. You're not, doing anything wrong. Nothing's broken. You're not off your path. You just might be working on something different at this time. This is originally created for Sunday, November 13th through the 19th of November. It is not solely set for that date. If you're seeing this reading on a different time and it still fits your situation, by all means, utilize it. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu underneath any of my daily readings or the weekly readings. Excuse me. In there, it shows you what decks I'm using, how to contact me via social media for a private reading, and things I want you to think about when utilizing the channel. Also, just general ways of supporting the channel. A really easy way to do that is hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel, leave me a question or comment, or share the video out. All of that stuff greatly helps. All right, let's get into these cards and see what's going on. I'm really tired. Ugh. Each card should represent for about a day or two of this week. You might experience these cards and then some, or maybe only one of these cards. We're all in different timelines, so let's see what the cards have to say. First card out is the Five of Pentacles. Now, normally the Five of Pentacles is the being left out in the cold card. It's that picture of the family crossing across the church in the snow. This card is transitory. Fives are always about change and shifts, but they're smaller in nature, right? So this is probably a transition or change. This could be a transition or change around relationships, money, jobs, that sort of a thing. Finding our way out of a situation that maybe wasn't necessarily working for us or had us feeling like we were out in the cold. Having us feeling like, maybe there's a bit of a struggle going on. But we have to, for some reason, what I'm feeling is that we have to stay with our truth with this, understand what we know to be true, and then stick with that, hold on to that, embrace it, ground in it, and then grow with it, climb to it. That's sort of I'm getting that from the image also. Climbing throughout, outside of the situation or whatever might be feeling like it's leaving us out in the cold. It almost feels like trying to get to a higher perspective, a longer view of the situation, right? If something feels limiting or lacking right now, I think that that's okay. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be here the entire time, right? So I think that this is about sort of holding true to sort of what we know to be true and working within a situation that might be difficult, challenging, or otherwise a pain in the neck. But it's offering us growth. It's offering us opportunity to see our strength, to see our ability, to see our wisdom as we move forward, right? Let's look at the midweek card. The midweek card is the Four of Cups. So this card is often about boredom, indecision, not necessarily taking advantage of a situation, staying in one place or choosing to. To me, this could be about emotionally taking rest just from the design of this card. Whatever we're struggling with this week, we may just want to kind of let it be, is my feeling, especially with the Five of Pentacles before this. This feels like, when I'm looking at these two cards together, there's still a settling of the transition. We had the Tower and the end of last week's weekly reading. So if you have experienced a big shift, this is kind of the resettling of that shift, is my feeling. It feels like it's, what's the word? The reassessment or the resettling, the readjustment, so to speak, may be happening in small means, right? With the 5 and the 4 here. But it's about us sort of resetting to whatever the facts are, whatever the situation presents. The Four of Cups could be us withdrawing a little bit emotionally, maybe to gain more answers for ourselves. Maybe the one thing that I do like about this is that they have their hand on that fourth cup, meaning they're not taking anything for granted or being reluctant or um, uh, uh, what's the word, resistant to what's being offered to them. But I think that the sleeping aspect of this card, or the kind of curled up in the fetal position aspect of this card, says that there might be some self-care involved this week. There might be some answers that only we can obtain by, this is giving me kind of Four of Swords vibes, yet on an emotional level, like going inward to clear our head and our heart. We see the mountains below this person's feet, and then all of that kind of clutter in the air. To me, that feels like the machinations of our mind and the situations that we've been dealing with. Finding again, it reminds me of the Five of Pentacles, that person climbing up over that tree or that growth, climbing up over a situation to get a bigger, broader perspective. We might be doing that in the midweek emotionally by going inward, by challenging ourselves to shut out the outside voices and lay a better foundation emotionally for what we know to be true. So this really feels like a week of, I don't know, our own answers coming to us through like doing the work, doing the internal work. The last card is the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is air energy, right? But it's also about sort of feeling stuck. But what I love about this card is it feels like there's an alignment, there's a freedom, at the end of this week, there should be an opportunity for us to see our thoughts, maybe through the work that we've done with the Four of Cups, and the emotional work and the material work, the shifting, the changing, the adjusting, to adjust our thoughts to like sort of gain freedom. The one thing I love about this card is it feels like this person in this particular Eight of Swords is not allowing these Eight Swords to hold them back, right? She might be moving like sort of blindly, but not without awareness, but with a limited awareness, or feeling like a limited awareness, but she's working with her own thoughts. She's working with her own ideas, her own way of communicating, and she's not letting it block her. She's actually, I feel, very empowered and lining herself up so that she can maybe express herself more clearly or think more clearly or utilize, what maybe limited her in the past to empower her in a way, right? And to move forward in a different direction that allows her to, one second, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. So it's going to allow us to express ourselves in a different way. We might obtain an opportunity to gain freedom from whatever it is that limiting thoughts or beliefs or communication styles that aren't necessarily working for us. It may feel awkward at first, but I think that it's going to line up and it's going to shift us into the rest of the month and maybe the rest of the year in a way that is empowered. I feel like with all of these cards, I'm going to be honest, this doesn't feel like the most stellar week. It feels like it could be challenging for us, both emotionally and materially, even mentally. But there is a opportunity here to sort of readjust or reset our perceptions or our feelings around a situation in such a way that allows us to move forward more empowered and more with a clearer perspective. Now let's look to the Hip Hop Queen's Oracle. It is Rihanna, dominance. I live. Look at her. She's ready to dominate us all. So Rihanna, she's fierce. She's also a Pisces. I will say that. I do know that about Rihanna. So we still are seeing that Piscean energy, even after seeing the Hanged Man so much and the High Priestess in yesterday's reading. So we're still in this place, but this dominance is about maybe gaining dominance over how we feel, how we think. Even with that Five of Pentacles, if there's smaller day-to-day challenges that we're facing emotionally, materially, even mentally this week, the dominance of Rihanna is like, she's got this, she's self-assured. She owns who she is. She's not afraid to kind of take control or work within the situation. And then, for lack of a better term, I guess, get a leg up on the situation, or make the situation work for her. Let me read Rihanna's card to you. Dominance, prominence, winning, influence, trend-setting, diligence, and criticism. While Rihanna entered the music scene as a Bajan ingenue singing Caribbean tinged melodies, it wasn't until aligning with Rock Nation that she became a good girl gone bad. With edginess, fire, sophistication, and bite, Rihanna sings about the pains of love, and on the same track empowers women to get their money and feel like the only girl in the world. Her punchy yet commercially friendly songs have become anthems thanks to their pop sensibilities, and her albums like Radar R, Loud, and Anti are all packed with hits that have made her a household name. Beyond the music, Miss Fenty has brought her outsized brazenness to fashion and makeup, fragrance, and film. Her Rihanna Navy is well assembled, and when it comes to commands, General Riri is making them and not taking them. Your relationship to the Rihanna card can be complicated. At first glance, it's the ultimate source of empowerment, as it should be. Though, much like Rihanna herself, you must measure your steps before you fall under scrutiny that you didn't anticipate. If you're feeling particularly defenseless, let this card be the messenger to awaken your gusto. Your fire is buried within you. And I think that's what we're kind of finding with this week with these cards. These cards feel really like it's like they feel limiting, but I feel like the limitations that we're dealing with this week are ultimately freeing us or empowering us through that Eight of Swords by the end of the week and into the weeks to come, guys. So keep that in mind. Your fire is buried within you, so bring it out. And when the flames get too high, measure your force. Realize how much you must exert to achieve your desired result before jumping right in and coming across as too hard. So I do think that this is about kind of also not giving up on a certain level, on ourselves, on what we know to be true. We might be figuring out still some of that truth this week with these cards. I don't know why, but these cards feel, and it's not the Eight of Swords that feels limiting to me. It's the Five of Pentacles and the Four of Cups. Both feel challenging. Not hugely challenging. It's not like it's like a tower moment, but it feels like we're being challenged to sort of go in, look for the answers within, and then utilize those answers by week's end to sort of free ourselves from whatever this Eight of Swords may be, whatever this limitation is, to maybe regain and take dominance like Rihanna represents in her card, right? To remember our fierceness, to remember our divine feminine, our ability to be adaptable and mutable and shift within a situation so that we can be successful and make it work for us, so to speak. Sorry if this isn't the best of readings, but these cards feel really like this week is going to be, I don't want to say challenging, but like a week of adjustment, a week of reassessment, and kind of going inward. Even with the blindfold on the Eight of Swords, it's like she's going inward to trust her own truth, her own thoughts, to free herself, right? And we see that with the sleeping and the Four of Cups is just kind of like pulling inward and finding the answers within. Let's look to the clarifiers and see what they are. So we have the King of Pentacles, grounded, centered, generous, looking to the future, definitely looking to a better, brighter future, and how we create that, how we ground that into reality. Maybe that's some of the challenges we're facing this week, is where do we limit ourselves financially, mentally, emotionally, and not allowing those things to sort of be our lead anymore. The King of Pentacles certainly isn't going to do that. He's a master manifester, and Rihanna with the word dominance says it's almost like we need to get a handle on this stuff and set ourselves up for success. The King of Pentacles will set us up for success, but we may have to not only make adjustments, but bring those adjustments to a place of reality in the 3D, right? And apply them to the situations we're dealing with. the challenges that we're facing. Again, another five card. Fives, like I said, are transitory. The Five of Wands is the whole lot of fuckery card, basically. It's like somebody's fight, somebody's debate, somebody's ideas, political beliefs, challenges, opinions being thrown about, things like that. Oh, my alarm's going off. Sorry. If we find ourselves being challenged by the opinions of others, or it almost feels like small annoying situations or things we can't control, that not that we necessarily want to control them, but they're annoying us, or getting in our way. They're almost, to me, it feels like they're like, even with the Five of Pentacles at the beginning of the week, they oftentimes associate with being left out in the cold. And that Four of Cups feels like pulling inward. So to me, it's like we might be avoiding a situation this week, or gaining our own perspective by pulling back, withdrawing. We don't have to get involved in the melee of the Five of Wands. We can sit from the sidelines and sort of be smart and await to see who comes out victorious. I don't think, with the King of Pentacles, I feel like whatever our belief is, whatever our truth is, the King of Pentacles is strong enough and stable enough to stand in that truth, and he watches from the sidelines, right? Almost like smartly waiting for everybody to tire themselves out, so that then his truth can reign supreme, or then he can bring his truth to it's almost like the feeling like I'm getting is like all these people in the Five of Wands are fighting it out, and the king's watching on the side, and he's saying like, okay, let's let these hoes like use all their energy, exacerbate themselves, and get exhausted, and then I'll step in and win, right? And so the stepping in and winning, or taking dominance, might be by going inward and finding our own answers, and then putting those answers to practical use through the King of Pentacles, even in the midst of the face of a challenge or argument or fight. Now, the last card is the Page of Cups, and I'm not mad at him either, because the King of Pentacles is here. And it's interesting, he's also looking at this situation, this shift, this change, this transition, right? That may be due to others, outside influences, outside sources or opinions. But the Page of Cups, to me, he's about, magic. He's about thinking outside of the box. He's about thinking open-heartedly, compassionately, emotionally, right? But yet the King of Pentacles is about being practical, dependable, discerning. So there's this nice mix between the King of Pentacles and the Page of Cups that says to me, be open to what changes might be coming to you. Be open to what situations might be challenging you this week. Allow yourself to kind of dig deep and figure out how you feel, think, speak on these situations, right? You don't necessarily have to convince someone of your answers, is my feeling. It's almost like these answers are more for us than for anybody else, and we will use these answers to our advantage, is my feeling. Let me go to the grounding stone for the week. And the grounding stone is desire. So what is it that we want, guys? What is it that we desire? And desire, to me, can be, obviously a sexual feeling that comes up within us, but also desire I attach to Wands energy and that of the spirit, right? Where is it we want to be? What are our goals? I mean, at a deeper set level. And I think that's why we see this kind of self-reflection, transition, challenge that we face. It's like us doing the work this week to get clear on what it is we desire. What do we want? If there's chaos or mixed, this Five of Wands has got me thinking it's like sort of mixed opinions or mixed options, answers, ideas coming from alternate sources. We need to stand true and open and ready, right, to like adjust our own inner compass towards our desire and take, you know, like the dominance card with Rihanna, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm just really tired this today. It's been a rough week, guys. I feel like the dominance card with Rihanna is us owning the changes, right? But we have to do the work to find the changes. We have to focus on what it is we desire. Where do we see ourselves, coming up in the next month or year? What do we want 2023 to look like? These are the things that we want to make manifest in the 3D. We want to bring it through emotionally and almost intuitionally, right? And trust that first and foremost, even in the midst of transition challenges or opposing opinions that tell us otherwise or different than what we know to be true. But the thing is with these three kind of transitory cards, the Five of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, and the Eight of Swords, it's like we also have to do the our own introspection to find those answers within. It's like we're not going to get those answers from the outside source, right? The outside source this week almost feels like it's a little struggle bus. It's a little mundane. It's a little day-to-day garbage that we deal with on the regular. While we're dealing with that, right, we're also like shoring up or firming up and opening ourselves up to new feelings, new desires, new emotions. And then really like from a practical viewpoint, thinking, is this thought working for me? Is this feeling working for me? Are these steps that I'm taking in my world, in my life, in my relationship, are they working for me? And if we find that the answer is no, I think that that's okay, because Rihanna with the idea of dominance feels like that's okay. We've got this. She's almost giving me a little bit of Queen of Wands vibes, in the sense that it's like we're not going to necessarily let the pettiness of the world around us or the situations that may seem sort of, again, back to that word mundane, but we understand that we can take, control is not the right word, dominance is not the right word, but that we can take these challenges or these shifts and utilize them to our advantage to push us forward towards our desire in a very practical, manifestational, and magical way, because that's the Page of Cups influence. So don't let any sort of day-to-day arguments, bickering, challenges stop you from. No, actually, it's not stop you. It's like, don't let it take your focus off what you need to do this week to free yourself up towards your desire. I do feel like with the Page and the King here, we have the opportunity to successfully take whatever we're learning, whatever's transitioning within ourselves emotionally, physically, even mentally, and put it to good use. But we have to also realize that we have to be willing to take the time to do the work, to do the introspection, to do the inventory, so to speak. I hope that makes sense, guys. Sorry, it's not the best reading. I'm just super tired. But if you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe to the channel. Share the video out. I will be back tomorrow to see how we build upon this energy. So it'll be an interesting week, I think. And, leave me a question or comment. Let me know that you're here. All of that stuff helps me to understand why I do what I do. I appreciate each and every one of you, and those of you that watch. Again, I apologize for the other day for just kind of going ghost. I went rogue, but needed a day off. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. And we'll see what happens here, because this is a very strange, interesting week. It doesn't feel like it's the most eventful week, but the cards could play out differently, I have a feeling. So I feel like there's something really big here underneath this. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.